This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelley Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Petrinovich, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kelley Gilster.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well this week. And Taylor, what is new with you?
So much is new with me. Honestly, I have just been head down preparing for this awesome workshop that we have going on in just 1 week, the Road to Luxury. And I'm so excited. I've been finalizing the slide deck. I have the workbook ready to go, and students have already been joining the free Facebook group that coincides with the workshop. So hello to all of our friends who are already in there. And we would love to invite whoever's listening, if you want to join us for a free 3-day virtual workshop called the Road to Luxury, where we will be guiding you through how to create a vision, a strategy, not just a strategy, a proven strategy actually, that has helped countless other filmmakers and photographers scale their businesses, and how to build traction so that we can get out of dreaming mode and into doing mode. Then we would love to have you join us. You can go to thelevelupco.com/workshop to grab your seat. Again, it's totally free, and we would love to have you, whether you've been in business for 1 year or 10 years or anywhere in between. I think that there's going to be a lot to learn from this workshop, so we hope to see you there.
Yes. It is such a fun workshop for us to put on. Taylor and I love to be able to just open people's eyes, business owners' eyes, to actually how close they are to the luxury market without even realizing it, right? I think some people think it's this unattainable goal that's decades away. You know, maybe you're 3 years into business and you think, oh, maybe in year 10 I'll be able to get there. But no, I mean, we've had a lot of past students on, if you're a faithful listener of our podcast, and you've heard the success stories, and they are real. They're so real, and they have been done in anywhere from 9 months to 18 months. All it takes is having that vision to begin with, learning the strategy to get there, and gaining the traction to do it quickly. So we're all going to be talking about it all inside of the Road to Luxury. We hope that you will sign up again, thelevelupco.com/workshop. It's going to be such an inspiring time. So much to learn. That workbook that Taylor puts together is literal gold. So we hope that we will see you inside of that.
Yes, we're very excited. And we're kind of giving you a small taste today about kind of what Kelley and I are all about when it comes to perspective on growing your business. And one thing that Kelley and I agree is something that must happen in order for you to reach your full potential as a business owner or as a photographer or filmmaker is to be a little bit selfish in your business. Now, I know we're all taught, from early childhood that being selfish is not always good, but in this case, it actually is a good thing. And we have compiled 4 ways that you can be selfish in your business that's actually going to help you really move that needle forward towards your goal. If you want to avoid burnout, if you want to make more money, if you want to build a career that's long lasting and fulfilling to you as an artist, then these 4 areas, you really do need to be selfish. So Kelley, do you want to start us off with that very first reason or way to be selfish?
Yes. So yeah, we are always taught as kids and growing up that being selfish is not a good thing. And in other areas of business or in life, obviously selfish is not a good thing to practice. But the way that Taylor and I are looking at this is that being selfish in these 4 areas that we're going to break down for you guys is what is actually going to better serve your ideal client, right? I think a lot of times people think when some of these things that we're going to break down for you guys, you might be thinking, well, I don't know, maybe my client's feelings might get hurt by this, or, now I won't be able to serve everybody. And it's actually not ideal to be serving everybody, or to letting your business be run by like your clients' feelings or anything like that. Like, you want to be able to set your business up in a way with a strategy that is actually going to suit you best with the clients that are ideal to you, and that you're going to be able to serve well, right? If we were just serving anybody and everybody in every single market, we actually wouldn't be serving them well. But because we've now honed in on a specific market with a specific client in mind, and what we as filmmakers actually really do well, like we've honed in on our signature style. I think for us listening, it's a signature style that we've all kind of like, either it's a work in progress or we've fine-tuned it. And by having all those things together, that's what's really going to, allow you to create these films or these beautiful galleries as a photographer that's going to serve the client well. So that's like kind of a long story short on that. I just wanted to start with that, so that we're just laying the groundwork on where we're going with this. So the first thing is saying no to weddings that aren't a good fit for you or your brand, right? I actually just did this recently. It was a hard no. It's actually a planner who we have a great relationship with. We probably do 2 to 3 weddings a year with them. And they got in touch for a specific venue that we have shot at numerous times. It's something that is never, probably ever going to be a portfolio piece for us, because it's kind of a bland country course on a golf course. Like, it's pretty vanilla, and it's something where I kind of made a selfish decision in my mind that it was something that I already had on my portfolio, and I would rather, because I'm kind of in this like new growth pattern in our own business, is I really want to be shooting things a little bit farther out of our local radius. Feels a little bit been there, done that for me right now, and I'm recognizing that I kind of want to be outside of that a little further. So we had the date available, but I just let the planner know that we were unavailable for the date. Taylor, have you ever done things similarly with a
Yes.
planner or with a client?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking about 3 weeks ago, I just did the same thing. So here in Northern California, our wedding season is a little bit more condensed than Southern California. So I would say for us, peak season really is like truly between May and October. And it's not a whole lot of volume outside of those months in any meaningful capacity. But my husband and my first daughter, my oldest daughter, they actually share a birthday, which I think is very cool. And it is in May. So it's like mid-May, and it's always peak season. And, every couple of years, their birthday falls on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this year, it just so happens that it falls on a Sunday. And I got an inquiry for the day before their birthday. And in past years, like I've always booked weddings like their birthday weekend, and we'll just plan a party for whatever day, around that where I don't have a wedding. But what I have found, like, this is like me growing as a person. Like, I'm really learning like my limitations and where I'm like placing my value. And in the past, like it's been where I'm feeling like I'm running myself into the ground by either throwing a like a huge party, having to like clean up and then film a wedding the next day, or kind of doing that reverse, like going into a birthday weekend, being exhausted from having a wedding the day prior and not feeling prepared. And I'm really like leaning into um, basically protecting myself and like setting boundaries. And I don't want to feel resentful to either of these like momentous occasions. Like my clients, like that's a really important day. And I don't want to feel resentful for like my past choice of like booking a wedding on this day because it's stressing me out like in other ways. And I don't want to feel resentful towards like my daughter, my husband's birthday, because like I have to be tired. You know what I mean? So I blocked that weekend out, and it was, of course, I get an inquiry from a planner I've worked with before at a venue that I actually really enjoy working at, and it's really beautiful. It's in Napa. And I had to like turn it down and say, hopefully we have another opportunity to work together sometime else this year. Um, but it kind of served me in a different way. So I feel like for you, like it was, you recognized that that client wasn't going to be like artistically fulfilling, or a portfolio piece. And for me, it was like not going to be serving my life in my values. And so in both of those ways, like there are different reasons for saying no, but in the end, it's serving our business better because that opens up another spot on both of our calendars that will allow us to, book a wedding that is a little bit more worthwhile in the long run.
No, yeah, like I love how this concept of saying no, it can be a twofold. It can either serve, you're saying no because it serves you better in your personal life and setting your boundaries. I'm actually currently reading the book. I don't know if anyone listening has read the book Boundaries. Taylor, have you read that book?
No, I've never even heard of this. I
Oh my
need to go add
gosh.
it to my Amazon cart.
Yeah, so I ordered on Amazon. It came last Saturday, and I've kind of been diving into the first chapter. And apparently, it's been around for a really long time. And then they just did like a new version of it in like the late 90s. But before then, it was written in like so long before that. And so like what you just described was just like perfect example for setting boundaries for yourself. Like I'm reading in the book that when you set boundaries, you're actually not setting boundaries for other people. You're setting boundaries for yourself, which a lot of people think that they're creating boundaries for other people, but you're recognizing, hey, I don't want to be resentful to this client maybe, or to this wedding. Hey, I don't want to be resentful that like I'm exhausted throwing this dual birthday party, you know? Like you're setting those boundaries for yourself so that you're not run so ragged and just protecting yourself. And that's so, so smart. And I hope that those who are listening right now take that advice this year. Maybe this is something that you've never practiced before. Paul and I have done things similarly with, I actually never, like, I'm not the hugest birthday person, to be honest. So I've definitely shot weddings like on my birthday. Paul and I have shot weddings on our anniversary. Like it's all good. But there has been like certain things that have just been like anything around like the 4th of July. If I have to be like traveling to and from, like I really want to be like hanging with friends and family and having like an awesome barbecue and going to the 4th of July parade. Like for some reason, like that's something that would really cause resentment in my heart. And then also the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I never want to be shooting a wedding the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I just want to like, you start prepping, maybe you have to travel out the next day. Like that does not sound fun. No, thank you. We have always turned away weddings on the Saturday after Thanksgiving to protect ourselves in our personal life.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
good.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and I think that it gets easier as like two things happen in our businesses. It gets easier as you practice saying no. It's like kind of a muscle where the more you use it, the more strength it builds, and then it becomes a little bit more intuitive to, protect yourself in that way and your business in that way. But also like in the I would say like lower like parts of the market, like the budget market where you truly do have to book volume in order to have a business that can float your lifestyle, like, like earn a significant amount of income to pay your mortgage and to pay for childcare. And, life is expensive. Life is very expensive. Like, it can be harder to say no because you're seeing like the dollar signs, right? You're like, oh my gosh, turning down like another $3,000 or $4,000. Like, that's so hard. But as you scale your business, like, you can truly take on fewer weddings and you're having fewer spots to fill in your calendar, right? So if you already know, like, I only want to book 12 to 15, then automatically, like, that, like, you can block time off in your calendar and, like, open up other dates. So I feel like as you scale and as you're making more money, it becomes a little bit easier in that way because you don't need 30, 40, 50 weddings in your calendar, right? Like at that point, every single, like every weekend really needs to be booked and maybe even double booked. So that's, if nothing else, that's one reason to, really pursue that premium or luxury tier of the market, is so that you can say no when you need um, to weddings. Okay, on to the next one. And this one can be a sensitive topic for many. And this is something that we are constantly guiding our students through, helping them navigate. And that is realizing that social media is actually a marketing tool and it's for you, not your clients. So, the way this translates to being selfish in your business is to really hold your Instagram and TikTok, I guess, too, to a higher standard, and be really protective. Like, truly less is more, and curation is key if you want to be utilizing these social media platforms to attract your ideal clients and attract more of the clients you want to be booking. And if you're posting every single wedding you shoot, there's a really high probability that not every single wedding is ideal or on brand or something that's going to further your business, especially looking at it through the lens of being a marketing tool. And so just kind of rewiring your brain into realizing that social media is not for your clients, it's for you, and it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah. I only shared 3 or 4. I only shared 4 of my weddings in 2023 on my Instagram feed. The rest just were not like, it really has to fit, so it has to check so many boxes for something to live on my feed like permanently. Yes, I probably shared like a little clip from like a rehearsal dinner on my stories, that I felt was like worthy enough to live on stories for 24 hours. Again, there was a lot of weddings that I just didn't share at all because it didn't check the box as far as the creative team that I want to be aligned with, or the venue that I want to continue working at, or the design of the wedding wasn't really up to par with what I want our business to be viewed as. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Was like all those things. We used to I if you guys are listening, you're in your first few years of business, I was totally there, and I know that Taylor was there too, where you really had to kind of showcase everything for a while. Thankfully, I've said it before on previous podcasts, we did not grow our business in the season or the what is it that I'm talking about? Like, short form content is so much more okay now. Long form content was still the thing. So like you really kind of had to show like a minimum of like a 3 to 5 minutes of a wedding. Whereas now, like you could literally just pull like a drone clip and like put that in there. Or like a portrait of the client. If everything didn't like check all the boxes. And um yeah, just remembering, yeah, like Taylor said, that this is social media really is a marketing tool for you and your business. It's not to like pat your client's ego, because they want to be like showcased on your Instagram and it's like a big, big deal. And I mean, honestly, this is another reason I feel like that's more of a mainstream mindset of a client, like a mainstream mindset for those clients is like this wedding is like the epitome of like the best party, the most grand party that they're ever going to throw. And so like they're so heavily invested, which whereas like more of that high wealth clientele, this is like one of many beautiful parties that they throw in their lives, right? So it's obviously a huge celebration. It's something that they like covet highly, but that's almost why like you see more NDAs in this level of the market, because they almost want to like keep it more private and private for themselves. So,
Yeah, there's more protection there. Like, yeah. I do feel like, okay, so if you guys haven't noticed, over the last several weeks, we have been slowly rolling out what is essentially a rebrand for us at like Level Up. And where we used to, well, so I started the podcast back in January of 2020, and it was very specifically for filmmakers back then. And over the last 12 months, 13 months now, that Kelley's been a part of it, we've been slowly incorporating more content for photographers, and we are truly now like an educational platform and brand for both filmmakers and photographers. So, really making sure we're speaking to the photographers who are listening too. I do feel like this is something where you should lean in to it being a little easier for you as a photographer to really have the ability to curate. It's a little bit harder for filmmakers. And I know if you're not a filmmaker, like this may sound like surprising, but it's a little bit harder for filmmakers to curate in this way because what creates our content is multiple clips stacked on top of each other, right? It literally needs like multiple shots in order to create like what we make. But a standalone photo all on its own is just so beautiful. And you can even create like a really small carousel with just like three images, right? Like pulling just the best of the best from whatever that wedding is. If maybe 20% of the wedding was like quote unquote ideal for you, then like really only showcasing those portions. Don't feel like you need to show a wide shot of the reception if it's folding white chairs and no centerpieces, right? Like you can really only show the things that are going to speak to your ideal client and your brand and be highly selective with those things. So lean into that, that kind of like advantage you have over us as filmmakers. And we would encourage you to do that. And the same does go for your stories. So although you can maybe have a little bit more wiggle room with your stories because they do expire, like I would say like even, being mindful of what you're resharing. Like just because you're tagged in something, like maybe it's like a behind the scenes of a wedding day or something like that. Like you don't always have to repost if you don't want, if it doesn't align with your brand or where you want to be going to. So just realize that this is like very true across all ways that social media or Instagram is utilized, and you're in full control. You don't have to do anything just because you feel obligated to. If you were to take something away from this, then just know like don't do anything out of obligation. Do it all out of a sense of empowerment and strategy for your business.
Yeah.
All right. We hope that this is encouraging to you too. And honestly, like if you're a note taker, like we would encourage you to take notes too, and maybe like put this on a post-it note on your computer monitor on your laptop, just to like get in the habit of looking at these things so that you can remember. So Kelley and I, like we share responsibility of running the Level Up Instagram account. And if you're not already following us, head on over to @the_level_up_co. And like we're starting to get in the habit of a few different things. But I'm having to like ask Kelley, like, hey, if I forget to do this like one thing, please text me and remind me because I'm not in the habit of doing it. So sometimes you do need to like build the habits for it to become second nature. So we want all of these ways of being selfish to become habits for you so it feels easy.
Yeah. And like Taylor said, I hope that this is encouraging. And I know for me, because I really wrestled, man, the people pleaser in me, I wrestled so hard with making that choice to not share every single wedding. And it started off small. It started off with like maybe 2 of them. I was like, I'm not going to show this one or this one. And then maybe the next year I was like, I'm not going to show 5 of them. And like, then, now we're like really, really, really micro niching down to like what I'm sharing. And it's 3 of them for the year that's being shared. So like maybe 30% of what I'm like show is what 70% isn't being shown. Like it's very like, it's here and here. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm like, hands are weight on a weight schedule or on a weight scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actually so freeing to me to take back control of what I was putting out there, to take back control of my business, and then to be able to have a strategy in place to know the type of client, the type of wedding, the type of creative team that I am going after, because I know that I can serve them the best. And it's just like it's just a win-win for everybody. So I hope that like this doesn't cause you too much anxiety, that like once you've kind of made that leap to be like, okay, I don't have to share everything. It's okay. Not like the clients aren't going to be upset with me. It's okay. Like you just, it's a very freeing feeling. That's what I experienced. And I hope that you experience that too.
Yeah, so good. If you're a numbers person, so like I'm very like when I listen to podcasts, I'm like, all right, get to the chase, like give me the tactical takeaways, whereas Kelley like loves the stories. Like she's much more of like the people person in our little duo here. So if you're like me, then what we would recommend, honestly, and this is what we tell all of our students too, is like really shooting for that between like 20 and 40%. Like that's all you need to share of like your total weddings. If you're sharing more than 50% of the weddings that you're shooting, you probably can curate it a little bit more, and that's actually going to help your business more too. And also just throwing it out there, if you shoot very low volume like us, you don't have to share something every day or even every week. That's totally okay. Please don't feel that pressure. And B, it's okay to share things that are maybe a little older or that have been shared before, if it's still in alignment with you and your goals and where you're headed in the industry. Like we all have those weddings that we just hit it out of the park, you know, whether it's like we did a great job as an artist or it was just one of those like rare, incredible weddings. Like, hey, it's okay. Share it again and again and again. It should be living on your feed and being highlighted. Like that's truly like the essence of marketing, right? So anyway, just also sharing that bit of wisdom that we utilize too.
Okay, so the third one is being discerning to opportunities that arise. I think maybe we've all been approached by the influencer or by, some kind of, I don't know, what would it be? Like a, not an influencer, but like a publication. Have you
Mm-hmm.
been ever approached by like a publication where
Oh
they have
yeah.
like rights to a certain celebrity's wedding or like D-level celebrity's wedding?
I was once inquired by like somebody that was like a supporting role in a Netflix show.
Nice.
And like they want these things for free, and that's like generally a hard pass for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, being discerning, like even sometimes like planners will come to you and be like, hey, can you like do me a favor and discount your rates, and sometimes that's a good fit, sometimes it's not. I mean, honestly, even like being approached to like participate in like bridal shows like at venues
Yeah.
and things, like
Yeah.
I mean, time is just like such a valuable resource. And I think you said this in the podcast episode either last week or the week before, but like time is really the only like currency that we can't get back. Like there's no more to be had. It is finite. And so, yeah, like be discerning, right? And we just had a guest come speak in our mastermind a few months ago. Kelley, you want to speak on that for a second?
Yeah, I'm sure that if for the photographers or the filmmakers, I'm sorry, and probably photographers because she's such a big deal, Peyton Frank, an ultra luxury filmmaker who is based in Texas, she came in and spoke in one of our mastermind sessions. Within our mastermind, we bring on guest speakers to speak. A handful of weeks, I think like 3 or so. And so she came in and spoke, and she's able to see such success in her business in like an incredibly short amount of time, and a lot of it had to do with how discerning she was for each and every opportunity and seeking out the correct opportunities, and then also when to say no. So you'll notice like all of these things are kind of a play on each other, all these points that we're talking about. So like she knew when to say no. That was our point number one. Being selective about using social media as a marketing tool. She did that super, super well. And she talked about how when you are presented with those opportunities, that's when it's a very good opportunity to also get ahead of it and learn more and more about what maybe this entails for her as a filmmaker. And then also like just the full scale of the event and the expectations of it. And so what might sound like a really, really great opportunity in that first initial email pitch from whoever it may be, when you start to kind of peel back the layers and ask more hard-hitting questions, like she'll even ask like, who's going to be the designer of the dress? If it's not somebody who's like in alignment with like her ultra luxury clientele, and it's just some like Maggie Sotero like dress, like it's just kind of like a retail-y, like off the rack, like it's gonna be a no for her. Like everything has to align in order for her to say yes to an opportunity like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, and to me, like one of the biggest takeaways that she gave us and that I want to share with the listeners here, is it's okay to ask questions. Like it's okay to obtain the information you need to make an educated and like really smart decision for any opportunities. And this goes for wedding planners who want you to discount your rates. Sure, ask who the florist is or the designer or about the fashion, or you know what I mean? You can ask all these questions. It's totally okay. If you're going to be doing something that's outside of your standard business practice, like please ask. It's better than showing up and being disappointed, right? Um, Especially when that opportunity may serve someone else better. So it's okay to pass along opportunities where maybe somebody is like a few steps behind you in their business and like it actually would benefit them, right? So saying no to opportunities actually allows it to be somebody else's yes. So that's kind
Yeah,
of like a
that's
nice
so
way to look at it.
true. And I think this also leads us really well, how you said, like, saying no to opportunities becomes a great opportunity for someone's yes. Number 4 is raising your prices.
Mm-hmm.
So stop getting in the way of someone else being able to make it their yes. This is where being selfish is actually a very unselfish thing. By raising your prices and moving out of the market that you have outgrown, is what is going to unselfishly open up new opportunities and doors for the new photographers and filmmakers that are meant to just naturally take your place in that area of the market. When you scale beyond, someone else is going to come in and take that role for you. And that's like a beautiful thing. It's like the circle of life for photographers and videographers, right?
It's so true. There's always, like, literally every single day, there's people starting their businesses and getting into those entry level price points. So don't feel like you need to be essentially what is a charity. Like, we see actually, like, we look at a lot of websites, guys. Like, we basically look at other filmmakers and photographers' websites full time. And one thing that we have seen time and again, is phrasing like, um, affordable, or we want everyone to have access, or things like that. And that is great for your first year or maybe 2 years of business. But again, like that doesn't have to be you forever, because what that's going to do is that's going to make you feel creatively unfulfilled. It's going to burn you out. You're not going to be able to, create an income that you need in order for this to be a sustainable thing for you. So let it go. You don't have to be affordable. You don't have to be accessible to every single person who's ever getting married ever. It's okay to have a brand that is in alignment with a more, I guess, like a higher end client, because they're always going to be looking too. Like if you're super affordable, if you're charging $800, for years and years and years, then you're never putting yourself in the room or in the bracket where those higher paying clients are looking. So like you're just never going to be able to serve them, right? So, and it serves you really poorly too. So please, 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 every year you should be striving to raise your prices. What Kelley and I kind of like to recommend is 20% is a really great goal to strive for. If you could raise your prices 20% every year, then before you know it, like you're going to have a business that you're insanely proud of. And that is so, so inspiring. And that's the heart behind the Level Up Co. and this podcast and the road to luxury is, please, like, for yourself, for your family, for your kids, like for basically every aspect of your life, like reaching that premium tier of the market at a minimum, if not going all for the luxury market, going all in, that's gonna do amazing things for you. And we're not one-dimensional people. Like we don't just live behind a screen as business owners. Like we are full people who have like wants and needs and desires outside of filmmaking and photography and the wedding industry, and it's going to do amazing things for your life as a whole too, like saving for retirement. One of my other favorite
Oh my
topics.
gosh. The love language of Taylor has just been opened. I
If
love
you
it.
don't have a Roth IRA, go open one.
That's so funny. Yeah. And so I hope that this is helpful. If you were someone who was taking notes, I'll just break these down for you, all 4, so that you can put a sticky note on your computer and really just lean into all these things in the coming months, and adopt it as practice for years from now. So 1, say no to weddings. Say no to weddings that aren't a good fit for you or your brand. 2, using social media as a marketing tool. It is for you. It's not for your clients. 3, being discerning to opportunities that arise. And 4, raising your prices. Stop stop using your business or viewing your business as a charity. Taylor actually over on TikTok, Taylor's been doing a really great like 30-day for the profitable filmmaker like series. And she put in there like charging $10,000 as a wedding videographer. And we were getting some attention and comments on that one. And a girl made a comment of like, well, now I'm never going to be able to get married. I just thought it was like the funniest comment ever. She was like, well, now I'm never going to be able to get married if videographers are charging this. And so I texted Taylor and I was like, I think she means like a wedding. Like she can go and get like a marriage certificate for $90. Like you can get married for $90. Do you want to throw a wedding though? Like, because I think that's what you maybe mean. And that can mean a lot of different things for different people. That could mean a $10,000 wedding. That could mean a $1 million wedding. And where are you going to be as a business owner, the photographer or filmmaker who is going to speak to which client? Which client do you want to speak to? So all of these things are really going to help you be able to just guide your business in that way. And again, we hope that you'll join us for our free 3-day workshop. I always get those two mixed up. Free 3-day workshop, The Road to Luxury, happening next week. You can find it at thelevelupco.com/workshop. Many of the success stories that you've heard on our podcast have started from just having awareness. And this is what that workshop is going to bring to you. And so we're excited for you to just get started on this new journey for your business, make 2024 something that you never thought was possible, but it absolutely is. So yeah.
Yeah. So good. And just going to leave you guys with this closing thought. You're in complete control of your business. You have control over every facet, and it is what you make it. We mentioned a few weeks ago that we all start on the same starting line. Day one, never having shot a wedding before. And it is up to you to decide where you want to go, what you want to pour into your business, and the rewards that you'll receive as a result of those efforts. And so we hope that you take full control over your business this year and join us on the road to luxury. Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.